In ancient times, on a great oak tree branch, a crow and his mate built a sturdy nest. The nest overlooked a sparkling stream and lush green fields, making it a perfect place to start a new life. The two crows lived happily and peacefully, sharing love and affection, and dreaming of a bright future with their young. But their happiness was short-lived. At the bottom of the tree was a large burrow, home to a wicked and dangerous serpent. This serpent watched the nest with longing and greed, yearning to eat the crows' eggs and their young. He would patiently wait for the crows to leave to search for food, then sneak silently, slithering up the tree trunk until he reached the nest, and devour everything inside, whether it was eggs or hatchlings. This tragedy happened again and again, every time the female crow laid eggs, and the parents felt joy and hope. The eggs would disappear in an instant, and every time the eggs hatched and small fledglings emerged, they, too, would vanish. Grief and despair took hold of their hearts. They couldn't understand why this was happening, and every time they returned to the nest, they found it empty, with no sign of life. One day, the crows gathered, their sorrow at its peak. The female crow said with anguish, "My dear husband, I am fed up with this situation. We have lost all hope of building a happy family. There must be an enemy lying in wait for us, and we must uncover it before it's too late." The male crow replied wisely, "You are right, my wife. This tragedy cannot be a coincidence. Someone is targeting us. I will not rest until I discover this enemy and take revenge." The crow decided to watch the nest closely. The next day, he pretended to go look for food, but instead, he hid behind the branches of a nearby tree, watching every movement under the tree. He didn't have to wait long. Moments later, he saw the serpent emerge from its burrow. The serpent was huge, with shiny scales and sharp eyes. It slithered up the tree trunk, twisting and turning, then climbed into the nest. The crow watched what the serpent did, how it devoured the small fledglings, and felt rage burn in his heart. The crow returned to his mate, his face showing signs of anger and sadness. He told her, "I have seen the enemy. It is that wicked serpent that lives at the bottom of the tree. He is the one killing our young." The female crow was shocked and filled with fear. "Oh my! How can we defeat this huge and powerful serpent? It is much stronger than us, and its burrow in a place we cannot reach." The crow thought for a long time, turning the matter over in his mind. He knew he couldn't face the serpent alone and that their combined strength wasn't enough to defeat it. The idea of revenge consumed him, but he knew that cunning was his only weapon. The crow remembered an old saying he had heard from his father, "Cunning overcomes strength." He decided to seek the help of his friend, the badger, a clever and cunning animal who lived in the forest. The crow went to the badger and explained the tragedy he was facing. "My friend, the badger, this serpent has destroyed me. It has eaten all my young. Do you have a trick that can help me get my revenge?" The badger thought for a moment, then said, "My friend, the crow, this serpent is very strong, and we cannot face it directly. We must use a trick to defeat it. Listen to my plan, and do exactly as I say." The badger explained his cunning plan to the crow. "Go to the royal palace and wait for the prince or one of his attendants. When you see them, peck at one of their valuable necklaces, snatch it, and fly with it over the trees. Let them chase you, and keep flying. When you get close to the serpent's burrow, drop the necklace inside the burrow, then fly away and hide in a safe place." The crow was amazed by this plan. "My friend, what then? What will happen?" The badger replied with a sly smile, "You will be surprised by what happens. When the servants see the necklace fall into the serpent's burrow, they will go to get it out. And when they do, they will find the serpent and kill it to retrieve the necklace." The crow was excited by the plan and thanked his friend, the badger, for this brilliant idea. The crow flew quickly toward the palace and waited until the prince came to bathe in a nearby stream. The prince had taken off his clothes and his valuable necklace and placed it on a tree stump. The crow swooped down on the necklace with lightning speed, snatched it in his beak, and flew high. The prince and his servants heard a commotion and saw the crow flying with the necklace. They shouted at the crow and began to chase him. The crow circled the palace, then headed toward the forest, with the servants running after him, shouting, "Catch the crow! Catch the crow!" The crow continued to fly, and as the distance grew, so did the number of pursuers. He flew over the trees, avoiding being caught. When he approached his burrow, he saw the serpent come out of its burrow to see the noise. The crow didn't waste a moment and dropped the valuable necklace inside the serpent's burrow. Then he flew away and hid on a distant tree, watching what would happen. The servants reached the burrow and saw the necklace fall inside. They tried to get it out, but they found the serpent emerging from its burrow in anger, ready to attack them. One of the servants shouted, "Oh no, it's a huge serpent. We must kill it to get the necklace back." The servants gathered and began to hit the serpent with sticks and stones until they killed it and retrieved the valuable necklace. The crow watched the entire scene from afar and was filled with joy. He had taken revenge on his archenemy, who had deprived him of building a happy family. The crow returned to his mate, his heart full of happiness. "My dear wife, we have taken revenge on the serpent. It was killed by the servants. And now, we can live in peace and tranquility." The female crow was delighted and thanked her husband for his wisdom and courage. The female crow began to lay eggs, and the parents rejoiced in their young, living happily and contentedly, undisturbed by any serpent. And so, the crows learned that wisdom and cunning are stronger than strength, and that a sound mind can solve the most difficult problems. This story is a lesson for anyone who is harmed by the powerful, for intelligence and cunning are the best weapons against injustice and tyranny.